Good morning, folks. This is Deb. This week we had an event that kind of got lost in the shuffle with all the excitement and stupidity coming out of J.D. Vance and Donald Trump's mouths. But this week, for the second time this year, the GOP Senate blocked a bill to protect IVF access nationwide. Now, only two Republicans crossed the aisle to support it, and that was Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins. But even with that, the Democrats could not get it to 60 votes so that the bill could even be debated. Okay? Now, what does that tell you? What that tells you is what I have been saying from the very beginning. Actually, it tells you two things that I've been saying from the very beginning. We'll start with the first one. The Republican Party does not care about women. It does not care about the children that they bear. Let's get real here. Donald Trump, just a week before this vote, declared himself the leader on IVF. Well, that wasn't his position several months ago when the Alabama Supreme Court decided to invoke their biblical right to declare a fertilized egg a human being. An egg cannot live outside the womb, okay? It is not a human being. But nevertheless, if you read the Alabama ruling, you will see that it's fraught with biblical references. And there is absolutely no place for that in American society, quite frankly. Not when it comes to questions about healthcare, a woman's right to choose, or anything else. The people that you put in place in the judicial system should not be using religion to form their non-religious decisions, okay? Now, Donald Trump, who has bragged about overturning Roe, certainly understands that his overturn Roe has led to all of this. His overturning of Roe has led to all of this. This is all the fallout from that cataclysmic decision, okay? We have mifepristone, which is still up in the air, even though the Supreme Court did protect access to that for now, okay? We have the right going after contraception in a big way now, okay? And now IVF. Women are now unable to get IVF treatment in certain states because their doctors, like doctors who have to provide abortion services, doctors who now want to help their patients get pregnant, cannot do their job without the fear of being criminalized for their actions. This is just more of the havoc that Donald Trump has wrought across this nation. He has resulted in women suffering in parking lots, waiting to get the treatment they need to stay alive, and women who weren't lucky enough to survive. Just recently, the article from ProPublica about the woman in Georgia, she's one of two women in Georgia who have died at the hands of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Make no mistake about this. Make no mistake about this. Just like there were 300,000 people who died during COVID who did not have to die in this country, okay? Now, if that's not negligent homicide, I actually don't know what is. But yet again, there's no accountability in America. There's only politics. When it comes to the Republican Party, they do not care about your children. They do not care about women in general. In fact, they have a very definite place where they believe women belong, and it is not where women believe they belong, okay? All you need to do is read Project 2025. I'm going to go back to this over and over and over again, okay? In certain states in the United States, you can live a Handmaid's Tale, but you're not allowed to read it. Remember that, okay? And if they truly cared about your children, we just had another shooting in Georgia, okay? We just had another shooting in Georgia because they absolutely refuse to do anything about guns in America. This is not normal. This is all preventable. And the Republican Party simply refuses to do the will of the people because the majority of people in this country, including legitimate law-abiding citizens who are gun owners, do not object to the gun legislation that has been proposed time and time again by the Democratic Party. Okay? But there's another message in this video, and it's the notion that we can eke this election out and be okay. That's not true. We have a majority in the Senate, but it's not a big enough majority. It's not a big enough majority, okay? It doesn't matter that the vice president, Kamala Harris, who seeks to become the president, is the tiebreaker. We can't even get certain bills to the floor for debate because the Republicans still own too much real estate in the Senate. Not only do we have to crush them in the House, but we have positively got to get beyond 51 senators in November. And we have a golden opportunity in Texas, in Florida, and several other states where now the Democratic challenger is within the margin of error or tied. This is the time to push. The Republicans will continue to block legislation if they are left as is in the Senate. If the numbers remain the same, that simply isn't good enough. So any of you people who might be looking at the polls that are coming out recently and thinking we're well on our way to a landslide victory, that blue tsunami is not going to happen unless you make sure that you get yourself to the polls, that you vote early if you can, that you talk to your neighbors, you talk to your family, you talk to your friends, because this isn't 2016 or 2020. This is 2024, and things can get much, much worse from here, particularly for women and children in America. Okay? Understand this. This is a call to arms here, folks. You're seeing the pattern. You understand the assignment. And now we must carry this out, because there is no legal system that's going to save us from Donald Trump. We already know that. We are the last line of defense. And guess what? We should be, because there are 337 million of us in this country. And we are bigger than any legislative body and bigger than any other organization. So let's act like we have the power and get rid of this slime. And I don't mean just Donald Trump. I mean the slime that runs down the walls of the House and the Senate, so that we can return this country to what it once was. Okay? Someplace where we didn't always agree, where we had to battle to get what we want, but a nation that wasn't fraught with fear, anxiety, and hatred. This is not workable. I will talk to you all later.